Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I get a lot of questions about career and resume and entrepreneurship. I thought I'd answer this question, which I thought was pretty unique. I'm not going to read the email here. I'm just going to kind of summarize here. But this email is from Philip, and he says, essentially he's asking, will being an entrepreneur hurt me? And what he wants to know is basically like if he goes out and he becomes an entrepreneur for some period of time and develops his own company and apps, and then he goes and puts that on his resume, is that actually going to hurt him? Is someone not going to want to hire him because they think that they see that he was an entrepreneur? Or even if he's doing it on the side, will they not want to hire someone who's an entrepreneur? So this is sort of a complicated question, and I can't give you like a yes or no absolute answer on this, but I can give you some kind of perspective on, I want you to think about two things here. One, I want you to think about what kind of company do you want to work for, and two, I want you to think about the kind of company that you'd want to work for. What would they think about entrepreneurship? Or more specifically, what kind of values, what kind of things would they value in an employee, right? So there's going to be a lot of companies out there probably that would look on entrepreneurship and look on someone who has outside interest and is doing things outside the job as a threat, because they want to hire a developer and they want the developer to be theirs and they don't want to share him and they don't want him to leave or do anything like that. And so that's going to be a scare. They're going to look at your resume and they're going to say, whoa, hold on, you started your own company for this time? And they're going to question that. They're going to say, was that really your own company, or could you just not get a job, right? Or they're going to say, it seems like you must have failed in business and now you're coming back here and you want to get a job, and what happens when things are good again? Obviously you're going to try and leave and start your own company because that's what you want to do, right? So I'm telling you this to scare you, because that's the worst face that you're going to face. So, and there's going to be plenty of companies that are going to think like that. But here's where that first question comes in. Do you want to work for those companies? Do you want to work in those environments, right? Because I'll tell you, there's also going to be companies that are going to value entrepreneurship, that are going to say, oh, this is interesting. We don't want to just hire someone. If you want to just like come to this job and live here for the rest of your life and work at this job, we don't want you. Because we want people who are growing and expanding, right? And if we can only hang on to you for a year or 2 years, that's fine. Because we know that you're going to produce 5 to 10 times the effort of someone who's a lifer, who's looking for a job that they can just go to and never worry about getting fired, right? There's going to be plenty of companies like that. So, and I would challenge you to think about whether or not those are more of the companies that you want to work for. Yes, some of those companies might be rare, and there's going to be companies that are going to be in between that are not going to have any idea. And you can dress up your entrepreneurship however you want. You can tailor your resume, right? I'm not saying lie, but I'm saying that you can tailor it to highlight the entrepreneurship or not. But for those companies, let's talk about why some companies would want to have an entrepreneur, right? Because the thing is, like, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are building your own business, then within a company, there's this idea. I did this interview with Matt Kramer, and he sort of named the topic. He called it intrapreneurship. This idea of being an entrepreneur inside a company, which is a pretty cool concept, because if you are an entrepreneur at heart and you come and work for someone, and you're an intrapreneur, that means that you're kind of building up this empire. You're building up this company within the company. You're sort of autonomous. And I think a lot of companies would want to hire someone that's autonomous, that can run their own unit, that can build and grow things on their own. One of the best aspects of an employee, of any employee, is the ability to be able to do things without being told, to be able to anticipate the need and to go and do that thing. So again, I can't give you an absolute, should you do this or not. Everything has a risk and everything has a trade-off, but I would say that there are definitely going to be companies that are going to appreciate entrepreneurship and value that, and that's the companies I would be looking for. So I wouldn't be worrying. I wouldn't be basing my decision on whether or not to start a business on whether or not I think a company will hire me. I think there's plenty of reasons to believe that the companies that you would want to work for would hire you. But at the same time, just realize that it is a trade-off, that there are going to be certain jobs that you're never going to be able to get would you really want those jobs? I would say no, but it's a decision that you'll have to make. So anyway, good question. Thanks for the email. If you have a question for me, email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com. And if you're interested in entrepreneurship and going from developer to entrepreneur, I am putting together a course. It's not released yet, but you can sign up to get on the early notification of when I put this out, on basically going from developer to entrepreneur, all the kind of tricks and trade details that I use as I built my business, as I went from developer to entrepreneur. I'm going to share those all with you. So if you like this channel, if you like this video, subscribe. Talk to you next time. Take care.